First VGS of 2014. What are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about an older theory in gaming as to how to survive the world of trolls. In most online games, you have two distinct types of people. You have the first type who is there to make sure everybody's having fun, to help the newcomers and the veterans alike, so that everybody enjoys their $60 purchase, or more depending on what you've bought. Now, we can't have too many of these people, because a lot of people enjoy the online arena, and in fact, thousands of people a year are jumping into it for the first time. So we want to make sure that they're enjoying their time, because otherwise they're going to really regret and feel very bitter about the money they've wasted on a game they don't like. We've all been there and nobody likes it. And in fact, I applaud these people for taking the time to help the newcomers feel welcome in the community, and more than that, help them understand the game and help them enjoy their time playing it. A lot of times, people who don't like playing online games don't like it for one of two reasons. The first being they don't know how to play it, and the second being what we're about to talk about. And that's the second group of people you have in an MMO type community. Some people call them trolls. I call them fucking assholes because that's what they are. This can be anything from simply shouting in your microphone as loud as you can, making everyone else want to rip their microphone off of the cord, or for example in Grand Theft Auto Online, fucking with someone who's just trying to enjoy their game.
This right here is what pisses me off about any sort of an online environment. People have to be dicks when there's no reason.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Now, there are a couple ways to deal with someone who is fucking with you in an online game. Now, obviously, the easiest way, I would suppose, is to turn off the game. Now, they can't get to you and you can't have to deal with them. However, if you just spent $60 on a game, you're not going to want to turn it off because there's an asshole in the premises. Now, I've heard this theory spoken about on the game DC Universe Online more than a few times. It's called the Q2 theory. Now, I asked about this and was actually sent a couple of videos and a small document explaining what it meant. And a big thank you to you, sir. I wish I had written down your gamer tag. I did not. But the theory is this. When a troll is fucking with you, they're trying to get a particular reaction. When they don't get that reaction, they give up and move on.
Talk about perfection.
If you're attempting to embarrass me, you won't succeed.
I'm just observing humanity. Aren't you gonna scamper away? Make some futile attempt to cover yourself?
It's a simple theory, and I did not actually get the reference for a couple of years after I heard it because back in the day I didn't really watch much Star Trek, so I didn't get the reference. I didn't know what Q or Q2 was, so I didn't get the joke or the reference. However, I do believe it's a sound theory, and here's why. Because it works. If you ignore someone who's trying to troll you or trying to be a fucking asshole, eventually they're not having fun anymore. So don't give them the reaction they're looking for. Because if you're on your microphone screaming it back at them, they know they're pissing you off, so they're going to keep going with it. That's kind of the whole point to them. Now, they're having fun and you're not, so they win. Now, personally, I don't really like playing online, but I do understand why people do enjoy multiplayer. And I think anything you can do to help the multiplayer experience only helps to grow our community a little bit stronger and a little bit larger. I know both my brothers in particular really do enjoy multiplayer, and so I try to do everything I can to make it as safe a place as possible. And so remember, when Q2 comes along, ignore. Now before we go, I want to talk about one other thing people will do in response to these people, and that is to try to shout them down. And I know it goes against everything in your being to just sit there and take it, but in all honesty, trying to shout them down is only going to get you into an argument with them. And it's an argument you can't win. I know it's hard to accept, it's hard to admit, and it's even harder to adhere to. But don't give them what they want. That's the general point here. And in fact, if everybody just stopped reacting, eventually they would give up. In my experience, it has always worked. Now, granted, I have only played 2 online games that I can honestly remember, DC Universe Online and Mass Effect 3's multiplayer. However, in both cases, when a quote-unquote troll or a fucking asshole came along, through ignoring him, I wound up winning the day. It worked for me, and I believe it'll work for you. Until next week, my name is Vega Goose saying keep calm and game on. I'll see you next week.